And let's speak now to Anshul Pfeffer, who is Israel correspondent for The Economist and former Netanyahu biographer. Anshul, thank you very much for joining us on BBC News. And it's difficult with these posts from President Trump to work out exactly what he means by them sometimes, isn't it?
Good afternoon. I mean, we've been through this so many times through the Trump presidency, that domestic policy, foreign policy conducted by social media posts and trying to work out what this all means. What we do know is that the Americans attacked a number of targets last night around Iran in response to Iran shooting down the American helicopter. Iran responded with its missiles to Bahrain and Jordan, and that's it. It was another short, sharp outbreak of violence, but beyond that, the ceasefire is holding. We had earlier in the week also another outbreak between Israel and Iran. But what is clear is that Trump doesn't want to return to that big-scale war that we had back in February, March. And he is looking for some kind of a deal here, but he's
and he's under pressure, isn't he? President Trump is under pressure, domestic pressure over this war.
Well, he's under pressure from, you say, domestic pressure. His popularity is tumbling. On the other hand, there are the Iran hawks in the administration, in the Republican Party, who are against the kind of deal that we can expect to see. There's pressure on the ground with Iran. Iran are not easy negotiators. We're seeing that they're also quite prepared to fire missiles when they think that it's to their advantage. And then there's Israel, which is also making things difficult for Trump with the war, or the sort of low-level war going on in Lebanon, where Israel is fighting with Hezbollah, which is Iran's proxy. And Iran was prepared this week to fire missiles in protection of its proxy, Hezbollah. So all these things are making it much more difficult for Donald Trump to reach this deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's been interesting right from the beginning of this war to consider what the diverging goals are for Iran and the USA, and how crucial do you think the relationship between the two countries and the relationship between President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu is in terms of what happens next? Because after President Trump suggested that he wasn't sure what Netanyahu's political future might be, the Likud party announced earlier today that he will be standing in the elections later this year, and perhaps that domestic audience is much more important to him, the pressure from that domestic audience, as opposed to the pressure from President Trump.
Well, both Trump and Netanyahu have to ultimately face their voters at home. Israel is going to be going to the polls at the latest at the end of October. Donald Trump has his midterms in November. So they both have to take these domestic issues into consideration. Now, it was very clear from the beginning of the war on February 28 that even though Israel and America launched this war together in full partnership, there would be this divergence at some point between them, that there was a clear split between what Netanyahu and Israel wanted to achieve here, which was to make some massive damage to the nuclear program, to the ballistic missiles program, perhaps even to topple the Iranian regime. While Donald Trump's main focus was trying to achieve control over the flow of oil from the Strait of Hormuz. So these are two different goals, two different.
Hello, welcome. I'm Martine Croxall. The tenuous ceasefire between the US and Iran is fraying, with the US forces attacking radar sites and Iranian missiles targeting US bases. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps in Iran says it's fired 7 ballistic missiles targeting US bases in Kuwait and Bahrain. It's threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz to gas and oil exports. US Central Command says all missiles and drones were either intercepted or failed to reach their targets. Earlier, the United States military attacked radar sites on Iran's southern coast. These are pictures released by CENTCOM.